So welcome back together, Ukulele Bootcamp Day 3. Those of you who are here, those of you who are online, my apologies if you've been waiting to be a part of this live. I can take this off. Let's dig in. So let's see, let's make the chords show up there. Oh, I'm sending my audio back somewhere. No? Oh, it's coming out of the TV. There we go. Okay. So let's take a look at our songs. And let's warm up with Hashki Vena. Nope, nope. Okay, so let's practice just going through our chords in a row. So we're going to start with the C. We're going to do that thing where we stay in rhythm and then we start thinking about moving. So get ready to move to the G in a moment and think about what you're going to do. Those first two fingers are going to do the real work of rooting you down, anchoring you there, and then that ring finger is just going to drop in as soon as you're ready, right? 3, 4, here we go now, and G, 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 G. Here comes A minor. Think about moving that middle finger. A minor. 1, 2. Here comes F. Put down that index finger. Good. Now we're going to go back to C, and we're going to do 4 instead of 8 sets. 1, 2, 3. Here comes G. Now G, 2, 3, 4. Now A minor. Now F. C again. Here comes G. And F. Okay, now just 2. C twice, and then G. A minor. Now F. Back to C. C. Now G. A minor. And F. Go back to 4. C. 2, 3, 4. Now G. G. 2, 3, 4. A minor. 2, 3, 4. F. 2, 3. Now go back to C and stay here for a second. We're going to add the ups now. Here we go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Last set, then go to the G. 2, 3. Here we go now. G and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 3. Here we go. A minor and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now F and 2 and 3 and 4 and F and 2. Back to C and stay there for a second. C and 2 and. Okay, we're gonna go to 16th notes now. Here we go now. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. I'm gonna slow it down just a little bit. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Okay, while we're doing this, focus on making the number louder. So 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a really loud 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and 3 E and a 4. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3. Now we go to G. G, 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 G E and a G E and a G E. And now A minor, A minor, 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 A minor, A minor, A minor, minor. Now F. Remember to make the 1, 2, 3, louder. 1, 2, 3. Now go to C and stop. Okay, how did that feel? Good?
Yeah, I don't know if I like this ukulele as much. I'm going to try it.
Here, or switch back for a minute.
Okay. I'm used
Okay.
to
Any thoughts there? Any things that feel particularly hard or easy or?
getting from C to G. I guess it'll come to me.
C to G is hard at times, yeah. But so practice that. Just go C to G to C to G to C, and I would just go back and forth between them. Even moving between them is probably helpful, going back from the G to the C, because it's the same motion in reverse, right? And you start to feel that bounce. And I know I keep using that words for different chord changes, but right, it's the bounce of the fingers moving. So what I would do is I would practice it really as that. C, 2, G, 2, C, 2, G, 2, C, 2, G, 2, C. And I would just keep doing that, whatever your chord changes are that are tough. Okay, any other thoughts before we jump into another song? Okay, let's learn a new song.
Well, we didn't play this song. Can we play this song?
Totally, though we did kind of play it. We played the chords even if we didn't sing it, but yeah. Okay, so C, 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 C. Now G, 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 A minor, A minor. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. A minor now, A minor. Now F. Now go to C. Here we go now. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Okay, stand that C for a second. So this is really slow for Hashkivenu, right? So if it's slow for Hashkivenu, our options are to either speed up or slow down our strum, right? Because you could slow down your strum and be strumming at half speed. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, right? So we'll do this speed instead. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shasi, v'hamidenu shom A minor. If you get lost, wait for C to come back around again. L'chai, C, a G, now A minor, and now F, now C, here comes G, A minor, and F, last time end on C. Okay, so that's a great one to practice. And when you practice it, you want to practice it just like we did it there, which is slow, right? Do 8 of them at first, just like we talked last time, on each chord, and then move to 4, and eventually you can move down to 2, which is what we're doing it at. 1, 2, Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom. Right, that's the beat. It's 2 strums each, kind of. Okay, any thoughts there? Okay, let's do another song. Okay, brand new song for us. Adonai Sifatai. So this is the song that comes right before the Amidah. So this is the introduction to the only section in an evening service, which is called prayer, tefillah. And this comes right before it. So the melody, I'm guessing, is going to sound familiar. It's... Does this sound familiar to people? Okay, so two brand new chords. There's only two chords in this, which makes it easy. This is 4/4 time. D minor and A7. So we're going to start with the D minor because it's a lot harder than the A7. So take that middle finger and start by putting it on the 2nd fret and put it on the string that is closest to your chin, your G string. Middle finger. 2nd fret, top string.
2nd fret.
There you go. Then take your ring finger and put it on the string just below it. It's also on the 2nd fret. So putting it on the C string, the 2nd string down. And then take your index finger on the 1st fret and put it on the 3rd string down, the E string. It's so hard for me to remember which strings are which. I want to call them their guitar names. So make sure each of your notes rings. It should sound. That's your index finger. That's not ringing out there.
So it shouldn't, if you're,
It's your index finger that's not ringing, so fix your left index finger if it's not ringing.
how do I put it in sync with what I
There's something buzzing or you're not pressing it hard enough or... There you go. Okay, this is a D minor chord. Same shape as an A minor chord, if you remember it at all. This is a D minor chord. The A7's a really easy chord. It's just your index finger, right? Look at it up here. It's just your index finger on the C string, on the 2nd string down. So actually what we're going to do when we're moving from it is we're going to take our index finger and move it up a string, and we're going to lift up the other two. So just a note on this, this is a 7th chord. It's the first time we've had a 7th chord. And a 7th chord, to give a little bit of music theory. So a normal chord has 3 notes in it. The 1, the 3, and the 5, okay? So remember we count starting A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, it starts back over. So if we start at the C, if we're playing a C chord, the 1 is going to be a C, which is gives it its name. The 3 is going to be the C, the D, the E, right? C, E, F, and G. So the 3 chords in a C chord are C, E, and G. The 1, the 3, and the 5. When we add in a 4th note, the 7th note, also in any chord, what happens is it gives it a bluesy feel. So here's a standard C right here. But if you take your index finger and put it on the 1st fret instead, do you feel how it just kind of sounds bluesy, feels bluesy? Yeah? As opposed to happy, bluesy, and then minor chords are sad. Right? This is a sad minor chord. Here's a minor chord, sad. Here's a major chord, happy. Here's a blues chord, sad. 7th chord. Do we hear that? Yeah? So just to get those sort of flavors associated, and that's one of the things we talk about on Wednesdays a lot as we're adding in these other things that we're not going to deal with today. Like we're not going to learn a lot of 7th chords or suspended chords or things like that. But as we progress on, they are flavors that we can add to our playing. So just associate those three things. Major is happy, minor is sad, and 7th is bluesy. Okay, so let's bring back in these chords. So we've got a minor chord, a sad chord, and a 7th chord, a bluesy chord, right? So let's take that A7 again. Just put your index finger on the 1st fret on the 2nd string down, that C string.
I am so confused by D minor.
Ignore D minor, we're playing A7 right now.
A7?
A7.
Okay. No.
Look at what you're doing. Look at the chart. What string is your finger on?
Oh.
There you go. Pay attention to the chart. I know it's tough to read it, particularly because of the sideways thing, but the more you can get used to reading it naturally, the easier it'll be, because then whenever you forget anything like that. Okay, so we've got our D minor, so go ahead and try playing your D minor again. D minor roots with these two fingers. They're just on the strings next to each other. The middle finger goes above the ring finger. And you want to just get used to putting them down together like this. And then the index finger goes below it. So drop in those two fingers and then the index finger. Good. Now look at the chart. Where's your index finger go? Your one finger. There you go. There you go, perfect. Oh, that's a great, Judy, thank you. Yeah, play an F and put down your ring finger. That's brilliant. Well done.
Just underneath the middle finger.
Yeah, play an F and drop your middle. In fact, that's right, there's a little exercise. Look at how, you have 3 chords just waiting for you there. You have A minor, you have F, and you have D minor. Great tip. Okay, so we move from the D minor to the A7. Look at how that index finger moves. That's the only movement there. Only up one string, not 2 strings. There you go. Now that index finger is going to move back down 1 string, and the other 2 are going to drop above it. And then back. Okay, let's try this. Ready? We're going to start on the D minor. And we're going to do 8 on the D minor and then move to the A7 and then move back. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. D minor we're on right now. 3. Remember, it's an F with the ring finger. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. Here we go. We're going to move to the A7. Move your index finger up. Good. Now, here we go back. Make an F and then drop that other finger in. And here we go back to the A7 now. Good. And now back to the D minor. Here we go now. F with the finger below it. Good. A7. Okay, from the beginning, we're going to do now A7. Adonai 4 1 na 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 na. Now back to D minor. Let me explain something about the chart that we're looking up here. I think it'll help. You're going to do 4 strums for each chord on the chart, and then we'll circle it back over. So you're going to do 4 D minors, then 8 A7s, and then 4 D minors, and then the whole thing starts again. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's try that. Get your D minor ready. Here we go now. Na 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 na. Now switch. Adonai A7. Na 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 na. Here we go. Switch. Satai tiftach 3, 4 to the beginning. Na na 3 and 4. Now switch. A7 2 3 4 and again. A7. Stay at 2 3 4. Back to D minor and again. D minor goes to A7. We're on A7 now. Good. A7 and here we go to D minor 3 4 and again. 1 2 3 4. Now A7 2 3 4 2 2 3 4. Back to D minor. Okay, that is how we're going to start the song on Friday, exactly in that strum pattern. And then what we'll do is we will go to a down, in, and up, and then we'll get faster and faster. So, you know, if on Friday you find yourself not able to keep up with the speed, it's totally fine. You can go back to just this works great. So let's try making our way through this as we will do it, okay? The first time we might even just do one strum. Na 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 na. Now A7. One more A7. A7. Now back to D minor. Start the whole thing over again. D minor. Now we play A7. And again. A7 back to D minor. Okay, now we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, A7, 2, 3, 4, A7, 2. Stay on that A7, 3, 4, back to the D minor. 2, 3, 4 again. D minor, 2, 3, 4. Now A7, 2, 3, 4. A7, 2, 3, 4, back to D minor. Now down and up. Na 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 na. A7, 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 and again. 1, 2, 3. Now D minor, 2, 3, 4, and again D minor. 2, 3, 4, and A7, 2, 3, 4. A7, 2, 3, 4, back to D minor. A little faster now. Na 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 na. Adonai. Na 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 na. Sifatai tiftach. Na 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 na. Ufi agid A7. A7, A7, back to D minor. Faster. D minor, A7, 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 D minor. D minor, back to A7. A7, and it ends with D minor. Okay, brand new switching between those chords. How did that feel? Felt okay? Felt okay-ish? Okay, so, right, the great part of this, first of all, we're gonna have a big group of people playing ukulele, so no one will hear you individually, but it'll also help staying on the chord and staying on all of that. Karen's gonna rabbi, I'll cantor, you conduct, whatever we call that. So for that one, just really, when you're playing it, focus in on getting the chords and the chord changes right, more than the rhythm. Or if you want to focus in on the rhythm, just do the rhythm, and you can even just stay on one. Na, na, Adonai. It doesn't sound terrible. It'll work. Okay, thoughts on that?
That was fun.
Good. And a whole new set of chords. Okay, now we're going to learn, no, we're not going to learn this now. But to give you a sense, this is where the Wednesday class is. This is our second warm-up that we often do, which is known as the 12-bar blues. And I know that this is like an incomprehensible chart that you're looking at, because we learned to play the 12-bar blues. What'd you say? Yeah, exactly. It's seventh chords. But even more so, we play the 12-bar blues in different keys. So we have the chords to 3 different keys of 12-bar blues. We have the chords within them, and then here we have the order of it. So we won't go into any more detail there, but just so you know, like, we're not far away from being able to do things like this.
Can you go back to the one we just,
Sure. And I'll send you the PowerPoint too, if you'd like. At the end of today, just remind me and anyone who wants it. You got it? The other option always with doing this is you can always get on YouTube and pause it at the moment that has the chords up. Yeah, Judy, I think actually way back when gets the credit for streaming this. It was her idea to do it as homework. I thought it was crazy. I didn't know who would take part in ukulele remotely, though it turns out lots of people do. Okay, another song.
I'll try it again. I'm trying to decide what's better for me.
Okay. Hey, Mom, you got to learn, if you're going to be a real instrumentalist, you have to learn the message, the important lesson that the real answer is you need both. That's, they call it, have people heard of gas guitar acquisition syndrome is the name what they call it. Okay, so we have 2 chords here. In some ways, this is structurally very similar to the one we just did. But instead of having a D minor in an A7, we've got a D minor in a C. So, whereas the A7 to the D minor move was all about the index finger, the move from the D minor to the C is all about that ring finger. So actually, let's go back for a second, play a C. Now play an F. Now go to the C from the F. Now go back and go to a D minor instead of that F, right? Add in your ring finger for the D minor. Play your F and just drop in the middle finger, or ring finger if you're having trouble with it. Yeah, good. Now we're gonna move from that D minor to a C. So look at how it's all about that ring finger. That ring finger is gonna go down. So work on that for a moment, going from that D minor to the C. What'd you say? Yeah. And that's how we learn a chord, is we learn it by playing it with various changes, right? That's how you get the muscle memory, so that your hand really knows it no matter where you're coming from. Okay. So this song is very, very similar to the last one. And it goes like this. D minors is all we're playing. Evening, the evening, evening, the C, C and back to D minor, 2, 3, and now go to C, now to C, back to the D minor, 4, 5, 6, 7, Ma, Re, stay on that D minor, now we're gonna go to the C, here we go, R, A, C, A, D minor. Okay, that's the whole song. Let's start from the beginning. Evening, 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 the frayed C, 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 D minor, D minor, R, A, C, 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 A, D minor, 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 Ma, D minor, D minor, D minor, R, A, C, C, C. Now back to D minor. One more time from the top. D minor, D minor, D minoring, here we go, the C goes back to the D minor, we're about to move, here we go, and move to C, and back to D minor. And D minor, now go to C, and end on D minor. So this is another one where it's a great opportunity to, if it's feeling comfortable, to really focus in on your strumming. Move to a, right, you can move to a down, up, or even 16 notes. Hillary, I shared this at the Wednesday class today, but you might be ready for this. If you want to get faster and you're having trouble with your strumming getting fast enough with an index finger, try going down with the nails on your second and your third fingers. Let me pull this up. Mom, will you scooch over? Do you mind? You're blocking the camera. So if you use these middle two fingers to go down and your thumb's nail to go up. So it's down like this and up with your thumb's nail. And you can get pretty fast with it once you get used to it. You can do the same thing with your first and your thumb if you want, where you can go down with your first on the nail and up with your thumb. I find it easier to use the second and the third for down and the thumb for up. I don't know why. That sounds good too. You know what? Some of this, in terms of your choices about how you strum, are going to be about what you need to do technically in order to play the piece that you're playing, right? Just to be able to get fast enough like we just talked about. But eventually you'll also get to a point, not far from here, where it'll be an aesthetic choice too. That there's a different tone that comes out from flesh than from nails, right? Here's my nail going up, here's my flesh. And you can see it's a different tone, right? Here's a down, down, up with my index finger. Now here's with that other strumming style. It's a different tone, and it provides, you know, it's not as significant of a difference as moving from like a C to a C7, but it is another way that we really add musicality to it. And you'll get to a point where you'll be able to make conscious decisions about how you do that. Okay, thoughts, questions? Okay.
So during, on Friday, we usually use the down, down, up, down.
If you're gonna strum with us, I recommend either down, up, or down, down, down on the beat, or we're not doing this land as your land, I'm sorry. That was, we had ukulele class on inauguration day, so that's what we learned. But actually, let's go back to this for a second, because I want to show you where you all are at already, right? Let's just do one strum for each of these songs, or for each of these chords, okay? Share screen, bottom right, there we go, right? C, so we're going to start on the C. Okay, we're waiting for you here, Mom. C, and now we're going to go to the F from the C, which is good. And now back to the C. And now we're going to go from the C to the G. Here we go. Think about it and go there. And now the G to the C, which is a really easy move because it's just your ring finger moving down. And now back to the F. C, A minor, F, now G, and C. So it goes like this. This land G to the New York C. Next is F from the Redwood F. Next is going to be C to an A minor to the Gulf Stream C. Now go to A minor F. Land is G for U and C. So we're not playing this on Friday, but as long as we stop there for a moment, I wanted you to see that you can play this song already, right? You can immediately play this song, and it's true of so many different songs. Because one of the ways, to talk a little bit more music theory for a moment, one of the ways that folk music works. So before we talked about how a chord is made, right, with the 1, the 3, and the 5. The way songs work and the way that chords fit together is also about a key, and also counted with numbers. But it's usually counted the 1, the 4, the 5, and the 6. The 6 is always a minor chord. The 1, the 4, and the 5 are major chords. So in the key of C, the 1 is C, right? The 4 is C, D, E, F. The 5 is G, right? F, G. And after G comes A, but it's going to be a 6 is the minor, A minor. So those chords were C, F, G, and A minor. Those 4 chords, the 1, the 4, the 5, and the 6, are the core of all Western folk music. With those 4 chords, you can play such an enormous number of songs that you would want. Google ukulele chords for, a huge number of Beatles songs and things like that. And you'll get those 4 chords. You might have to move it to the key of C, and most of the websites will move it to the key of C for you, because everything you know is in key of C right now. But yeah. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Au Dieu. Do we want to go over Au Dieu one more time? Okay, so down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so look at this for a second. Stay in that C. Keep streaming. You can just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Okay, now. The next chord's going to be the F. Remember this chord, ignore what it says about the G. You don't have to play it, or you can play it if you want the challenge. But you can just do C's to F. So it goes. Au Dieu shalom aleinu. Now F. Au Dieu shalom. Back to C. Au Dieu shalom aleinu. F. F. Al kulam. Now C. 2. Down. Down. Now F. Down. 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 Now C. Down. Down, down, now F, down, 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 sa, C, F, 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 C, and F, and C, and F, and back to C now, and go to F, and that's the whole song. And you can, right, this is another chance where if it's feeling comfortable, increase your strums complexity. And if it's not feeling comfortable, just focus on the chord changes. Whatever you're focusing in, it's a great opportunity too. And with your strumming, right, there's the down, down, up, which is the slow, Au Dieu shalom aleinu, Au Dieu shalom aleinu, or you can double the speed. Au Dieu shalom aleinu, right? Okay. I think those are our songs that we need to go over for today, because we have today's Wednesday. So we have one more day to learn things before then. We'll probably learn Bim Bum. And here's Awaken and Arise that Randy does. Do people know this? Awaken, arise to the wholeness of your being. Awaken, arise to the beauty of your soul. He toreriki vaorech kumi uri. Right, it does, whether or not we know that or not, Randy does that, Randy Fleischer. But we have it in here in two different ways. Notice that it's D minor in C and A minor in G. Same song, different keys, right? Awaken, awaken, arise to the wholeness of your being. Awaken, arise to the holy of your soul. Itoreri, toreri, kivaora. So same difference. A minor and G, in fact, they're right next to each other, right? G and A minor are right next to each other. And of course, C and D minor are right next to each other, but it's going to be the same distance always when we change keys. It just makes it higher or lower. Okay, I feel like that was enough for today. Any last thoughts, any things?
I'm just curious how many ukulele players are going to be there on Friday?
We have 7 to 10 regulars at Uke. I don't know how many of them will be there. What we're going to do, we'll be outside. We won't have these, but I'll print out all of these for people and hand them to you. So you have them, and we'll get some music stands. And what we'll do is, have you seen where the sukkah is set up outside for services at the far end of the parking lot?
I think so. By the garden?
Yeah, by the garden, exactly. So at one end of the sukkah is where the rabbi normally is, and and that's where Andrew and Leslie would normally be. So Andrew and Leslie won't be there, so it'll be Karen, me, and then we'll have a semicircle of chairs for all of the ukers, so that I can face you, and Karen will be up there rabbiing, and everyone can see you, and we'll have some mics out so it picks up the ukulele playing and all that.
You know, I gave you a lot of Manhattan music stands when you're down in the basement.
I didn't know that. Okay, I will go check that out though, because that will be wonderful. Okay, those of you who are joining online, we'd love for you to join us for ukulele on Friday too. Please let me know if you're going to join. Email me, Daniel@centralreform.org, or Alana, ELANA, @centralreform.org.